What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. So let's talk some NBA draft. We're going to talk a lot of basketball today. Also, the NBA draft finished up yesterday. So I'm going to go through the first round, and then I'll go through the lottery, and then I'll highlight some other non-lottery picks and second round picks that I liked as well, and with a bunch of trades and deals that happened. So let's go there. Hawks draft Zachary Rasacher, first overall pick. A lot of people thought Alex Sarr was going number one, but Alex Sarr didn't actually work out with the Hawks, and they had him on. Kendrick Perkins asked him, like, they were interviewing him before the draft, like on the desk, and asked him, like, why didn't you work out with the Hawks? And he basically said, like, nothing against them, but I have a strong team of agents, who around me, so so I just because I didn't work, it doesn't mean I don't want to play for them. I mean, kind of sound like you didn't want to play for them. I mean, I don't blame him entirely. That team is probably going to get torn apart. Trae Young possibly could be traded. Dejounte Murray could be traded. And if those two guys go, who knows who's off limits? Could that mean Clint Capella gets moved? So Hawks draft Zachary Rasacher. Look, this is a very weak draft. In other years, these always top guy Rasacher saw would have probably been like late lottery picks at best. I think Rasacher is a good player. Kind of reminds me of like a Michael Porter Jr. He's a big, lanky forward. I think he's like 6'8", 6'9", maybe 6'10", who can shoot the ball. I think he's a good player. I'll say that. And at 2, the Washington Wizards select Alex Sarr, another French kid. This kid is who I thought was probably the best player in this draft. In a weak draft, I just didn't think he was the best player. He's a big guy. I think he's like 7', 7'1". He's a power forward from France. He's a very good player. He can shoot the ball. He's versatile. He's a good defender. It's something for the Wizards to build around. There's really nothing over there for the Washington Wizards. So that gives them something at least. The Alex Sarr is the Washington Wizard. Third overall, the Houston Rockets draft Reed Sheppard with the third pick. I like that pick for the Houston Rockets. He's a good shooter. And that's something that they definitely need. They have a lot of young pieces. They have a bunch of wings. You have, Cam Whitmore. You have guys like that. You have some big. You have Alfred Sengun, Jock Landale. So you have guys there. You have outside of Jalen Green, Lee, aren't a ton of guards who are really laying up the screen. Reed Sheppard, which gives you another guard, and he can shoot the ball. Rockets need the shooter, and they get one with the third overall pick. Fourth overall pick, San Antonio's first pick, Stephon Castle, point guard out of UConn. I like this pick a lot. Castle's a very good player. I think he's a very crafty point guard. I thought he could honestly went ahead of Reed Sheppard, but fit-wise was Houston with Reed Sheppard for a reason there. Spurs get a possible point guard in the future. Of something they really need. I've been saying for a while. Spurs kind of have to build their team like the Denver Nuggets did, because building around a 7-foot center is not what you normally do. But Denver's been able to do it successfully. Of course, won the NBA championship last year. Look at the other piece they have around him: Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. You had Bruce Brown for the championship year. You had Jeff Green for the championship year. You've had Reggie Jackson. Christian Braunson's another guy that you took. You look at all these pieces. KCP's another guy you've had the last couple of years. So I looked at the team like, all right, Wembanyama's a your Jokic type of player. Obviously, you're kind of playing style, 7-foot center, young that you're building around. Then Vassell possibly could be like that Michael Porter Jr. kind of guy. I like him a lot, but they don't really have like that Jamal Murray, like that, lead ball handler who can close for you. I'm not sure if Castle doesn't necessarily like a true closer, but he's a very good point guard, good ball handler. He's a good passer. He can score, shoot a bit. I like this kid a lot. Coming from UConn, so Spurs to him with the fourth pick. Pistons at 5 take Ron Hall in the second out of the G League. I think they may have reached a tiny bit here, but again, this isn't very good draft. But he's a good player. But to me, I said it a lot. The Pistons, they're built very oddly. You have a really good point guard in Cade Cunningham. You have a good young shooting guard, Ivy, who I like, but you haven't seen a lot from him. Monty wasn't playing him for some reason last year at one point. But then you have a wing in Alstar Thompson who can't shoot, but you don't have a stretch four to kind of hide that. You have a bunch of bigs. You have Duran, who I like a lot, James Wiseman, who hasn't turned out to this point, and Isaiah Stewart. You don't have Marvin Bagley anymore. For me, I thought maybe you go out and get yourself a really good wing. Then you can move outside of the four, so you kind of hide his to pitches from three, they get a little bit better. And of course, you have Duran at the five. So not where I would have gone, but how many really good wings were there in this draft? Honestly, there was a decent amount of bigs in this draft. There was a pretty good amount of point guards in this draft. There really was not a lot of wings at all. That's really, I think, the problem with this draft. The wing class was really, really bad. Like, you look at the bigs in this draft, Sachier, Klingon, Sar. You look at the point guards, there's so many, reach up for probably a two-guard, Castle, Rob Dillingham, Nikola Topic. But wings, there weren't that many of them. I would have probably went with Matas Boozley. I think it fills a little more of a need for them, but there aren't a pretty good player. The G League has produced a few decent players. Jalen Green's a pretty good player. We saw, at the end of the last year, he start to really come to his own. We'll see what happens with him. Hasn't really been a star come out of the league, and that league now for not, what happens to be for NIL to things. But it's an okay pick to me. And the Hornets at 6 take Tahane Saloon. I hope I pronounced that right. From the Chile basket team. I don't know much about this kid. I think the Hornets also reached. Hornets were team again. Giant don't have a whole lot. You've heard from Charles Lee, who I do like, but you have Brandon Miller, who's a wing. Drafted him last year. He's really good. I like LaMelo Ball a lot. He's a great passer. He's a good scorer. He can shoot a bit, but he's just always hurt. You can't count on him for more than 30 games a season. Other than that, Mark Williams, a kid that I like. He played pretty well this past year, but he's also injured a lot. To me, you really need a wing, so I guess he can kind of fill that role, but I think that was a bit of a reach for the young ones. At 7, the Portland Trailblazers take Donovan Clingan, a big guy to UConn. I like this kid. I think he's been overhyped at times. There were a lot of rumors throughout this draft process he was going to go top 3 or top 4. At one point, it looked like he might be the first pick. I think he's a solid big. He's a really good story. I think he lost his mother when he was in 8th grade. I cannot imagine how tough that was on him. He's a really good story. He's won back-to-back national championships, was a huge part of the second one this past year. I think he's a guy who is a really good inside scorer. He's a very good rebounder. He's a good shot blocker. So in today's NBA, I don't know how much of a fit he is. And you look at Portland running into the win. They have so many guards. Anthony Simon, Shane Sharp, Sue Harrison. And they have a good amount of bigs as well. DeAndre Ayton, Robert Williams. Now you add Clingan. That being said, Robert Williams is always hurt. Ayton, to me, is more of a trade candidate, to be honest. So I do like Clingan. He seems like a really hard worker. Seems like a really good kid. Obviously, coming from a really good place. He's the kind of kid, if Portland tells him, hey, we're going to work on, mid-range game or your perimeter defense, maybe try and develop some sort of jump shot, he's the kind of kid that's like that. He's going to put his head down and work as hard as he can, and he won't stop until he's accomplished his goal. So, yes, he has some work to do, but he's the kind of kid that I think with the right coaching, I don't know if he has. Schulte Billups running the show there. Joe Cronin's a terrible GM. But in the right situation, if Portland can get a little better, Clinton could become a very good player. So the 8th overall pick was supposed to be the Spurs pick. They originally took Rob Dillingham, who's a really good point guard at Kentucky, who I like. They ended up trading him to the Timberwolves. Don't get a whole lot back, which is interesting. So they traded him to Minnesota for a first-round pick in 2031 and a swap in 2030. So they basically traded him for a 12-year-old. That's basically what they did. So odd move by the Spurs. Because I like Dillingham a lot. I think he's a very solid point guard out of Kentucky. Maybe they thought, all right, they already have Stephon Castle, so they don't need another one. But take, Clay Williams or Matas Boozleys or one of these other kids. That's what I would have done. Look, I trust the Spurs. And no, maybe Greg Popovich saw some 12-year-old and was like, that kid's going to be in the NBA. And he's like, oh, so he's doing the math. They're like 2031 when he'll be available. All right, give him the Timberwolves pick. I don't know, but I thought it was a little weird. They got a first-round pick in 7 years from now. I'll swap in 6 years from now for the 8th pick of the draft. That was a little odd. Unless they're planning some sort of big move. So, obviously, the Capitals now, that was weird. But that's a good move for the Timberwolves to not give up a whole lot for a kid like that. Now, he's part of the point guard of the future with Mike Conley getting older. At 9, Memphis Grizzlies take Zach Edey, center out of Purdue. Okay, look, Edey's a weird player. Obviously had a lot of success in college. Was the best. He was voted the best player in college basketball for the last 2 years. And he, was in the national championship this year with Purdue. Obviously, I don't expect a whole lot of them. Honestly, especially with these big guys in college. There's not that many other 7-footers in college. So when you're 7'3" like Edey, you are very hard to guard. In the NBA, every single team has at least one guy who's 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet tall. That's why I think he's not going to be the super great player. Look, I think he's a good inside scorer. He's a very good rebounder. He's a very good shot blocker. To me, he's Mitchell Robinson, and Mitchell Robinson was a slightly better free throw shooter. And for what it's worth, if Mitchell Robinson was a better free throw shooter, he'd be a starting center on almost any team in the NBA. When he's healthy, obviously. But top 10, I had him as more of a mid to later first round pick. Had him in that 7 to 8, 19, 20 range. I mean, Memphis desperately needed a big. You traded Steve Adams away at the trade deadline. You didn't really have any size. So this is a glaring need that you fill with Edey. And if nothing else, I don't see why he's giving us for the paint and today's NBA unless you're like a backup center playing 50 minutes a game. You shouldn't be going top 10 or playing 30 minutes. But he fills a major need for Memphis Grizzlies, and as long as he stays healthy, and if he can be a solid free throw shooter, I think at least 4 of the Memphis Grizzlies could be a decent player. So we'll see what happens. So 10th overall, Utah Jazz take Cody Williams out of Colorado, a wing. I like this pick. Don't know too much about this kid. Don't know a lot about a lot of these guys. This draft is just so unknown. So it's kind of a weak class, like I said a couple times here. But Utah definitely the wing for sure. You had a couple of nice guards. Colin Sexton is a good player. You draft was it Keontae George last year. You still have Jordan Clarkson. You have a lot of bigs like John Collins or Lauren Martin. Just the list goes on. They could use a wing, and you get one in Cody Williams out of Colorado. 11th pick, the Chicago Bulls pick Mataz Bouzley out of a G League Ignite. I like this pick a lot. I thought this guy could go top 5. I think this is a very good value for Chicago Bulls. All of a sudden, your young core is starting to take shape. You trade Cruz up for Josh Giddey. Probably should have got a draft pick in that. So Thunder have 30 of them to give out, but you do get a good young player. You have, I assume, there a kid I like. Kobe White had a career this year. Now you have Bouzley. All of a sudden, your young core is starting to take shape just a little bit. Obviously, you're probably going to lose to DeRozan for nothing. Levine's a guy you're trying to trade. Not sure how much we got for him since he's always hurt. He's on a really bad contract. Vucevic could be a trade candidate. We'll see what they get for him if he ends up on the team next year or not. But I think this is a good pick by the Bulls. He's a very good player. At 12, Oklahoma State Thunder take Nikola Topic, a point guard out of Serbia. I like this pick. Yes, he tore his ACL a few weeks ago at the Combine in Serbia. But you got to remember, this kid was a top 10 consensus prospect before the injury. They got him at 12. I think he's going to just be a very good player. I think he's one of the better point guards in this draft for sure. Let's say it's to stay out the year. The Thunder are so deep. You already have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was one of the league's best players. You drafted Casey Wallace last year. If he sits out a year, the Thunder are one of the few teams that can afford to wait for him to sit out a season. So, good pick by the Oklahoma City Thunder. The second note, at 13, take Devin Carter. Looking at Providence, I think this kid's pretty good. King made a weird trade with the Raptors. They traded away Davion Mitchell for 9th overall pick in the draft, as well as Sasha Veznov. They get back the 14th overall pick. in this draft, and then Jay McDaniels for still on the bench. I thought that was a weird trade for the Kings. Look, Mitchell hasn't really turned out like we thought he was going to, but he was still only going to be 26 years old next year. Look, his rookie year, he averaged 11 points a game, shot 41% from the field. He's lost a lot of points in the last 2 years. He averaged 27 minutes a game in his rookie year. Last year, he's averaged 18 and 15 minutes a game, respectively. That's why he's only averaged 5 points a game. The three-point shot hasn't really carried over, but he's done a little better. He shot 45% from the field each of the last 2 years. From three, shot 32. 2 years ago, this year, shot 36. So his three-point shot actually got better this year by a pretty solid margin. Problem is, he's not, the super great athlete. He's not a super great rebounder. I mean, he's a shooting guard. He's not the super great passer. He's still kind of work in progress. But he was a guy I thought could be a part of a bigger trade for like a Brandon Ingram kind of guy. I wouldn't just give him away for a, mid to late second round pick and a bench player. So, but in fact, I like to do a lot for Toronto picking up a potential rotation piece who's still only going to be 26 years old. That was kind of a weird deal. But you pick up Devin Carter, who I think is a solid point guard. You already have De'Aaron Fox there. But, he says he's not signed an extension yet, so you never know if you have to trade him down the line. He could be his replacement. But the Kings shouldn't have traded Halliburton. Spence was great. I don't think should have traded De'Aaron Fox for Spence, if I'm being honest. But I think Carter's a good player. So the Portland Trailblazers were supposed to be able to have the 14th pick before the draft started. They made a deal with the Wizards to pick up Denny Avdija. In return, they send away the 14th pick, Malcolm Brogdon, and a couple of seconds. So the 14th pick was they took Bubba Carrington and Gar at a pick. They sent that to the Washington Wizards. Look, Avdija, I think, is a good young player. He's still only going to be 24 years old next year. He's a guy. His first couple years kind of struggled. He never averaged more than 9 points a game his first 3 years in the league. He was shooting, never shot more than 31% from three or 40% from the field. But he had by far the best year of his career this past year with the Washington Wizards. Averaged 14 points a game and 7 rebounds. Shot 50% from the field and 37% from three, and splitting 74 from the line. So he's starting to come into his own. Was the 9th pick in the draft in 2020. So he's a 6'9" wing. He's got good size. I think that's actually a good pickup for the Portland Trailblazers. Brogdon was always going to be a trade chip. He goes to Washington. He had a good year last year, averaged 50 points a game. Top says shot 44 from the field, 41 from three, 81, almost 82 from the line. He's always been a good player. Really good defender, decent scorer, good shooter. Obviously, he's got a lot of playoff experience. Was in the finals not this year, but the year before with the Boston Celtics. So he's a very good player. In this draft, to give up him the number 14, 2 seconds for Avdija, I think this is a fair trade. The 14th pick in this year's draft is for Denny Avdija. I think it's good value, and then you give them Malcolm Brogdon. We'll see what the Wizards do with him. Do they buy him out? Do they look to move him? Do they keep him to the trade line? We'll see because he can help a contender. Team that's bad can't do a whole lot. So not doing a whole lot for him. So that's the lottery. Some other intriguing picks. So the Heat at 15 take Khalil Ware, who's a big man out of Indiana. I thought the pick was Jared McCain, point guard out of Duke. That's who I thought it should have been, either him or Dalton Nets. Justin, who you all know, been on my show many times. As you know, he's a big Heat fan. He wanted Jared McCain, so he wasn't too happy with the pick. I don't hate the pick because they could use a big. Because look, Bam Adebayo, they extended for 3 years and $106 million. I think it's a good move overall. He averaged 19 points and 10 boards this year. Shot 52% from the field, 35 from three. He's a very good player. He's a great defender. He's a very good scorer, great rebounder. He could be a little more aggressive from beyond the 3-point line. He's not a great 3-point shooter. I mean, 20% for his career is not very good. He averaged 0.66 attempts this year. He doesn't take a lot of them. But he can take a few more. But he's a very good player. Obviously, you ask yourself, all right, is 53, whatever it is, plus million. Is he worth that? Probably not, but that's how NBA contracts go. If you pay a guy who should be making 35 million, you pay him 50, or you lose him, and he can't afford to lose him, so they lock him down. He's a very good player, underrated for sure. But the problem is that he's a 4. He is very clearly a 4. He's played better as a 4. He was a 4 when he came into the league. He was a 4 at Duke. I think it's where he went to Duke. He was always a 4. They just don't have a true power forward on their team, so they had to play him at the 5. They don't have a true 5, so they had to play him at the 5. If this kid Ware, who seems like he's pretty good, you know, they found how many Hawkeyes around this spot last year. He turned into a very good player so far in his rookie year. They can find another guy like that, Ware, which Pat Riley's very good at. That could be very beneficial for them, but I thought McCain was a pick, but Ware, I think, is a decent pick. At 16, 6'6", Jared McCain, that's a very, very good pick. Him and Maxey are going to be a very good backcourt. Hopefully he's a basketball, not making these silly little TikToks, but also he's a very good player. I like him a lot. I mean, Los Angeles Lakers at 17 take Dalton Nett out of Tennessee. This is a great pick. Great steal. He's a really good shooter. The Lakers need guys who could shoot desperately. I don't understand why you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis and you don't put shoes around them. LeBron does not help by any means, for sure. And just, you know, run the team the way he wants and not the way it should. But Nett's a really good player. He's a really good shooter. That's a really good pick for the Los Angeles Lakers. Other notable guys, you know, Orlando Magic and Tristan Da Silva out of Colorado as a wing. Toronto got Jacoby Walter out of Baylor at 19. You know, Yves Smith, he's a big guy. The Pelicans got a bit from Baylor at 21. And then, you know, the Nuggets took a trade. The Suns took a De'Aaron Fox, a big man at Dayton. Knicks took Pacome Daddier, this French kid, 25th overall. This kid looks pretty good. In Minnesota takes Terrence Shannon at 27. Utah Jazz got Isaiah Collier, a 2-guard at USC at 29. I thought that was very good value. I think he's a good player. Someone take Baylor Schreierman at 30 at the Creighton. He's a good player. He fits the Celtics really well. Very similar to Sam Hauser. He's a good player. Kyle Sepkowski goes 32nd to the Jazz. That's a really good value pick by the Utah Jazz. He's a good, solid big. You saw Jason Tatum tweet out after the first round they're going to regret passing on him. He might be right, honestly, because he's a very good player, Sepkowski. I thought he would be a mid-to-late first-round pick. He sneaks into the second round. And yeah, some second picks I liked. The Bucks take Tyler Smith at the G League at 33. Knicks made a move to get the 34th pick from the Portland Trailblazers because they made a couple moves in the first round. They trade 24 to the Wizards, and they get 26 and 51. 25, they take Pacome Daddier at 26. They give it to Mathurin for 5 second-round picks, and they just continue to make moves. So Portland, they get Tyler Kolek out of Marquette. It's a kid that I like, a solid point guard in Marquette, a guy I thought could go at the end of the first round. They get him at 34. Indiana makes a trade with the Spurs, get Johnny Furphy out of Kansas. Then you had, second round, switching this driver, there's a whole lot of guys. But Jamal Sheed, the Kings sent him to the Raptors. That's the pick that they got in the Mitchell trade. So that's Toronto. So Jamal Sheed, I like him at Houston. He's in Toronto. He's in Toronto now. It's kind of funny. Cam Christie and Minnesota goes to the Clippers. His brother is Matt, who's on the Lakers. So that's kind of funny. Tristan Newton, point guard at UConn, goes to Indiana. I liked him a lot. He was really good in the tournament. He was really good for UConn this past year. Definitely a project, but I don't hate him going 4-9 to Indiana. That pick. Yeah, Kevin McCullough, the Knicks got 56 and for the Suns out of Kansas. And they also get the 58th pick. His name is Ariel Huporti. He's a big out of Germany. Don't know the second thing about him, but the last something but big out of Germany was, I can remember, Dirk Nowitzki, so something. And Suns and Sixers didn't have second round picks because of tampering or something like that. The Lakers took Ryan 55. People were freaking out. First of all, why is so surprised? Second of all, he's not good. There are many undrafted guys that should have went over him. I'll say it that. I'll say it like that. I don't get it. Cool, we're gonna play this kid. Fun, yay. Don't care. The fact that the 55th pick in the NBA draft was a reach is a problem. That's how bad the guy is. I'm sorry. The guy is not that good. He just is not the guy. That's the NBA draft. Other moves that happened. The Rockets got AJ Griffin from Atlanta for the 44th pick in the draft. He's a guy, as a rookie, he flashed a little bit. He averaged almost 9 points a game on 39% from three. But lost a lot of playing time this year in Atlanta. Only averaged 8 minutes a game in 20 games. He had an injury that cost him most of the year. Then it was a Majibi. He had the first start in Houston. And then a couple of extensions. The Nuggets extended Jamal Murray, 4 years, $209 million. That's the plan right now. He's a great point guard. He's obviously a very good player. He averaged 12 points a game this year, 59 games when healthy, 48 from the field, 42 from three, 85 from the line. We did struggle in that conference semifinal series against Minnesota Timberwolves. Then a couple of other trades. The Hornets got Reggie Jackson for a second-round pick, but then we're sending him out. Probably trying to save up money to re-sign KCP. Just opted out. Player option. And the Pistons trade for Tim Hardaway Jr. They send Dallas Quentin Grimes and 3 second-round picks. So Hardaway did not get a lot of playing time in the playoffs, was not good in the finals at all, but averaged 14 points a game this year, shot 35% from three. He's a decent three-point shooter to have. Grimes goes the other way. I thought 2 years ago he was starting to come into his own with the Knicks when he averaged 11 points a game, shot 38% from three, played well defensively, but he's not having a good year this year with the Knicks. Was averaging 7 points a game on 36% from the line, and then in Detroit was even worse. He only played 6 games. They were only averaged 19 minutes a game for them. Only averaged 5 points a game. Shot 14% from three, almost 5 attempts. He was very bad, but he is still only going to be 24 years old. He's shown the ability to be a style 3-and-D guy in the past. Dallas takes him on, and they send out Hardaway in the trade as well. And they got a couple of second-round picks back in the trade. And the Cowboys signed DJ Burns. You remember him? He was the revelation from NC State. NC State had a similar run to the Elite Eight when they lost to Purdue. DJ Burns, the big center who had a phenomenal tournament. He signs in Cleveland. He'll be invited to their summer league. So he's a guy with the combine, so he lost a lot of weight. If that helps him, he just shows up in summer league. If he can make that team, he could possibly have a nice career. And the next recent OG Anunoby, 5 years, $200 million. I've been very happy about that. He's a great player. He's as bad as gets. Phenomenal defender, very good scorer, good three-point shooter, very good guy. Very happy he's back. And the Nets extend Nick Claxton 4 years, $100 million. He had a good year. He averaged 11 points, 9, almost 10 boards this year, just 2% from the field. Yes, he doesn't have much of a three-point shot. And he's not a good free throw shooter. Shot 55% from the line this season. A 54 career percent for a shooter, but he's a very good inside scorer, great rebounder, and he's a very good defender. He's a very solid big, and he's still only going to be 25 years old next year. But that's all I got today. My next show is not going to be until Monday. I'm going to be in New York for a while, but probably for the next week and a half, 2 weeks. After that, when I'm here in the studio, is pretty much ready. So in a couple of weeks, I should be back in the studio. No problems. That's the plan right now. But till next time, so long. Have a great day.